Hello, hello, testing 1, 2, 3. If you are sitting here at the end of 2024 and you really feel like this year was a write-off, there's nothing good to talk about from it, you feel discouraged, you feel like you're watching everyone else's like Instagrams and TikTok recaps and you're like, how did everyone else have so much time to do all this stuff when I feel like I accomplished nothing? If that's you, know that you are not alone. Life happens, and sometimes we get to the end of the year, we go to sit down to maybe like make a New Year's resolution or just even reflect, and we're like, how did that year go by so fast? I feel like I accomplished nothing. I feel like there was nothing good from it. And we can get in a really negative mindset about that. So today we're going to talk about what to do if you get to the end of the year and you feel like you don't have anything to show for it. How do we continue to show up for ourselves and move forward and ultimately talk about how we can still end this year well, or we can just start 2025 with a fresh start. Hello, welcome back to Hot Mess Habits. My name is Victoria Harder. I'm your host. I am a type B ADHD girly. I am a podcast host, content creator, mom, wife, eldest daughter, recovering workaholic perfectionist, just trying to do her best to show up for herself every day. Around here, we talk about healthy habits, productivity, and I'm sprinkling in some lifestyle these days. I'm trying to show more vlogs and just more little snippets of my personality on here. So we'll see. So far, that's failed because last week I talked about my hair and someone did not like that. Megan, I'm so sorry to have disappointed you. All jokes aside, I have my eggnog latte here for this episode. We're getting into the Christmas spirit. It is officially December. I'm so ready. I think that this update will be out. If not, sneak peek, we are moving. And so this December has felt a little different. Normally I'm very focused on like cozy Christmas content. I like to get my tree up like early November, and it feels so strange this year that it's already December and we do not have a single Christmas decoration up, but that will change. We're going to move in the next week or so here. So just need to get everything painted, and then hopefully we'll be set up in a new studio space. Another thing to add as well is that I am doing Vlogmas this year. So I always include my husband in Vlogmas as well as our son. So it's very lifestyle focused, and it's going to be showcasing this year a lot of like kind of behind the scenes of my real chaotic life. We're going to be moving, like I said, so it'll showcase us moving, painting our new place, cleaning up our old place. It'll definitely be a very much like we are resetting for 2025 by moving to a new whole new place. And then also obviously I will be showcasing our little Christmas activities we're doing and all of that type of thing. So definitely, if you aren't subscribed on YouTube, definitely subscribe and follow along. I will still be putting out regular podcast episodes as well. So those will be coming out on Tuesdays, and then every other day of the week I will be doing Vlogmas. So lots of content for you guys this month. Stay tuned, stay subscribed. Cannot wait to show everything. Okay, so today's chat is going to be very much, this is just like I'm sitting down with you, I have my coffee, we're going to have a little heart to heart about how our year was in 2024. I am going to be putting out in the next few weeks as we lead into the new year. I feel like this is like the time for the wellness girlies and the productivity girlies to shine, is the start of a new year. And so I want to have a little check-in before I start pushing out that type of content. And we're going to say like, okay, how are we actually doing? Coming from a place of personal experience, it can be very discouraging and honestly just sad when you get to the end of the year and you feel defeated. Like you feel like that year, you're just like, you know, maybe you're ready to be done with it because you're like, that year was so bad. I never want to think about 2024 again. Maybe you just feel disappointed in yourself. You feel like, oh, I had all these dreams. I had all these aspirations. Why was I not able to accomplish all the things I wanted to do? My year of this, honestly, there was 2 years that were like this for me. They were 2020 and 2021. Both of these years, I struggled so immensely. There was various reasons for it. The major one was that I still do have a chronic skin condition, but it had taken over my life at this point, and it was like I was unable to get out of bed. It was so terrible. And it just completely overtook my life for basically those 2 full years. So everything I did was dictated by the health of my body, and it did not allow me to like get out of bed, to function at a normal pace. My body was always inflamed. I was not able to function as like a normal human in society. Like what, like how? I was like, if I were to post a recap this year, it would literally just be me laying in bed and crying. And so these are the things that I wish, like this is the encouragement that I wish I had back then, is that it is that there are going to be years in your life when sometimes the most accomplished thing that you did was just show up, and that you continued to persevere and get through, and you did the best that you could with what you had. Obviously on this earth, we are not guaranteed anything. Like our health is not guaranteed and nothing is like guaranteed. So like some years it really is just, you know, making the most of what we have and the hand we got dealt. So what do we do when we feel like this? Like when you get to this place, when you know like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm so behind. I'm feeling like I didn't accomplish anything. What do we do with that information? What I think that this is such a powerful place to be in, even if you don't feel like it, if you can muster a little bit of energy to be able to write down something about your year, whether that means you're writing down just like a summary of how it was not a good year for you. I think that there's two really good reflection things that we can do. And I know that if you've had a bad year, this might be really hard for you to do. And I get that. I know that it sometimes is like the last thing you want to do is like, I don't want to sit down and think about it. I do think there is a lot of power in that. I am so thankful that I did, even in these years when I was feeling so terrible, I did take the time to kind of write out some things about my year. I'll tell you the two areas that I did. Because when I look back, it gives me so much like kind of empathy for my past self, as well as like a sense of pride for how far I've been able to come and what I have been able to like be resilient in. And I know that like saying about that about yourself, I don't know if that's like narcissistic, but I do think that like when I look back at like how difficult that year was and how terrible my skin was and my body was at that time, I am proud of myself that I was able to get through it and that and still show up for myself. So anyways, the two things that I focused on was just, first of all, writing a recap of the year. So I did not accomplish any of the goals that I had set for myself either of these years, but I just wrote down a recap of like, okay, this is what happened in this year. Because I was obviously not feeling super well during those years, it's not like I was like journaling regularly and being like, I wasn't writing summaries of like, oh, this is what I did this week or anything like that. So I did sit down and I wrote kind of a summary of the year. And I talked about some of the negative points, and it was really helpful for me to just like write that out and let that be kind of like somewhere existing. It kind of helped me get it off my chest, and I was able to like complain a little bit to a piece of paper. You could also do this on the computer. The second thing is I did make a list of things that I was thankful for. I think that, you know, even when the world feels heavy or you feel like there's a lot going on, you feel like your life is not going in the way that you want it to, I do think there is still so much power in being thankful and grateful for the things that we do have. I do think that, you know, even if, I think that two things can exist at once. Things can be really, really hard, but there still can be beautiful things despite that. So that's what I would encourage you to do, is just like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write out a little recap of like what happened this year, and then also write down, these are some things that were good. There are things that I'm grateful for. Some of the things you write down could even just be the things that you're thankful for. They don't even necessarily have to be like your accomplishments or like your own things. Sometimes you can steal from other people a little bit. In 2021, one of my best friends got married to one of our other friends, and it was just so beautiful to be able to see them get married. And like, it had been like, we went to school with them in Germany, and it had just been like years in the making of them getting married, and it was so beautiful and wonderful. And even though that was like one of the hardest years of my life, and I was in a season of like hardship, it was one of her, like a season that was beautiful for her. And being able to see like, you know, I had a really hard year, and that year was like the year she got married, and those two things like existed at the same time. And so if you need to steal some from other people's accomplishments and just be like allow yourself to be able to see those two seasons existing at the same time. I feel like that's also very helpful. So that's just my first reminder here today, is that, you know, if you feel like you didn't accomplish anything this year, that's okay. Maybe you did not. Maybe this year was just about getting through, doing the best you can. Maybe you were working a lot, you were in school, you really didn't have time to think about things outside of yourself. That's okay. You got through this year, and that is what is the most important thing. All we can do from here is reflect on the past and also try to show up for ourselves in the present and move forward. Along with feeling like you didn't accomplish anything, I also want to address this like kind of subsection of not feeling like you accomplished anything, which is like, did you just set too many goals for yourself? Because I've also been there too. I've been there where I write down so many New Year's resolutions, so many goals. I will write down New Year's resolutions and they are so crazy, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with writing down like big goals and big dreams. But what can happen is that then you can get to the end of the year and you can be disappointed in yourself because you're like, wait, I didn't accomplish half my goals. So if that's the camp that you're in, I want you to just be really realistic with yourself, really take the time to like reflect and look back at the things that you did accomplish and be like, okay, you know, I only accomplished 2 out of 10 things that I wanted for myself, but the 2 things were actually pretty, like, they're pretty significant things. So that's for my second camp of people. My last 2 reminders, just like as we end out 2024, these are more just like things to keep in mind over the next couple weeks as you're like consuming holiday content and just looking around to your peers. The first reminder is that you are not behind. It can be very easy once you hit 20 to just start looking around at what everyone else is doing and being like, oh, okay, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. Like, where do I measure up in terms of these people? And I just want to remind you that honestly, after high school, everything I feel like is just, people are at different life stages, and that is okay. There are people in my life that are like, just like that are still in university. There are people in my life that are married with 4 kids. There are like so many different stages that you can be in and still be in your 20s. I just want to say that it can be very easy to feel like everyone else has it figured out. Everyone else like knows what they're doing. I feel like the more that I talk about this, the more that I have conversations with my peers or just like online with people, is that like, you know, you can have all the things going for you, but yet that person is thinking about something else. So the person that just bought a house is maybe wanting to have kids. The person that just has kids is wanting to buy a house. The person that is in school feels behind because they've never lived away from their parents. The person who just moved out, like all of the things, I feel like everyone is just looking at other people and feeling behind. But the reality is we're all on different journeys. We're all in different stages. We've all made different decisions. And so just remind yourself that there are, that it's okay if you don't have everything figured out yet. I feel like, your whole 20s is literally just figuring things out and making changes, navigating what you want in life and figuring out what your priorities are. So you are not behind. You got this. Lastly, I just want to remind you to check your heart and to just be really aware of the content that you're consuming and how you are perceiving other people online. This is quite similar to feeling behind, but I feel like this is when we kind of start to get resentful of other people, and we feel like everyone else knows what they're doing, but then we start to get kind of hateful about it, or we start to get kind of like we're bitter about it. And I just want to remind you that like that does not lead, and I just want to remind you that bitterness only grows. Bitterness does not go away. Resentfulness just becomes deeper and uglier. And so the more that you can check yourself and be aware of those types of feelings that you're feeling towards other people, especially the people closest to in our life, I feel like this can sometimes be the people that it's almost easiest to be kind of bitter or resentful towards. And I feel like the holiday season can kind of bring it out even more because people are with their families or like they're showcasing like, these are the things that I did this year. And so it can be easy to just feel like annoyed at people about that rather than feeling joyful for them. So I just want to remind you of that, to like check your heart, check in with yourself. And if you're feeling those things, maybe you need to take a little break off social media. Maybe you need to spend some time thinking and praying about that and being like, okay, what's going on? What's going on with me? Why do I feel like this? Is it because, you know, I feel insecure around these people? Is it because I feel like I didn't accomplish enough this year? Like, being able to identify that, I feel like, is a very good way to move forward. So definitely would encourage you to just, like, as we head into holiday season, people posting their recaps, people being with their families and like chatting about that, just be aware of that. I really want you guys to feel like you're ending this year really well. Even if this year didn't go exactly as you planned. I've been there. I know how that feels. I will be posting some New Year's content that is more like focused on like, okay, how are we going to set new goals? How are we going to reset for the new year? All of those types of like more practical, here's the step by step. But I just wanted to do a little more of like a heart-to-heart chit chat with you guys today, because I will be having lots more of the like practical side of things going. So today I wanted to do a little bit more heartfelt encouragement for you. I do hope that this year you can end it really well, and that, like, you know, even if you feel like you didn't accomplish all the things that you wanted to, I hope that you feel encouraged. I still hope that you're able to show up for yourself even in this last month of the year. Definitely like for the next couple weeks episodes on just resetting for 2025. Thank you guys so much for being here. I would love if you subscribed or left me a comment. Thank you so much. So many of you guys have been sending me such kind DMs just about how the podcast and the YouTube videos have been really helping you and have given you a fresh perspective on things. Those comments just mean the world to me and just really encourage me in what I'm doing. And that there's a space on here for the type B girls, the girls who feel like they haven't been identified on the internet. So love you guys so much. Hope you have a wonderful week.